Our movie kicks off with a little girl named Reina sleeping on the beach. As soon as she wakes up, she sees her entire village slaughtered at the hands of the Triad gang, the biggest gang in Northeast Asia. And then she watches her family getting killed right before her eyes. One of the gang members, called Ito, grabs his weapon to kill Reina, but he hesitates. We then cut to Ito's house. We see his wife, Shinta, walking into the bathroom only to be surprised by Reina being there. Moments later, Ito walks into the bathroom but collapses on the floor from his injury. Ito wakes up from his blackout and notices his wound has been treated and starts telling Shinta what happened. To save Reina, he had to take out every single member of the gang, but he took a hit to the stomach. And we find out that Ito works for the elite squad of the Triad gang. These elites are 6 powerhouse fighters, and Ito is one of them. Their job is to protect the gang's interests, and that's why they wiped out the village and killed all the fishermen, because they were stealing their cargo. Fatih is Ito's friend. Shinta called him up because Ito was wounded. Fatih is caught off guard that Ito threw away everything with the gang for a girl he doesn't even know. Then their friends, Wisnu and Bobby, show up. Bobby starts chewing Ito out because he betrayed the Triad, but Ito loses his cool with him and knocks him to the ground. And we discover that Bobby has an amputated leg. Fatih calms him down and lets him know that he's got nobody left but them now, and for sure the gang is going to try to take him out. And we find out that Ito, Fatih, and Bobby used to have their own little gang, but Ito ditched them to join the Triad. They had a 4th friend named Arian, but he joined the Triad too, and he's also one of the 6 elite members in the Triad gang. We see Arian at his workplace, running one of the biggest nightclubs in the capital. During his shift, he spots a customer treating the staff like dirt. When he tries to calm him down, the guy gets disrespectful with him. Right then, Arian beats him and his guards up and smashes a whiskey glass over his head. After he wraps up the fight, he gets a call from Chien Wu. Chien Wu is the leader of the elite squad. He tells Arian that Ito betrayed the Triad and also tells him there's a little girl missing from the village that they need to find. Arian takes his private jet to go meet Chien Wu. Even though the little girl is nobody, Chien Wu wants her dead to send a message to their rivals. On the other hand, Ito is getting fake passports ready to make a run for it with Reina, but he's short on cash. When he asks Bobby for the money, he tells him they're broke, and that's because Johan, one of their old gang members, seized all their funds. Ito decides to go meet Johan and arrives at his gang's headquarters in a slaughterhouse. Ito asks him for the gang's money, but Johan refuses to hand over a thing. Before he can grab his pistol, Ito strikes him and takes control. After that, he heads into the butchery room to take the cash, but he's surprised to find Johan's men waiting there. Johan tells him that even if he gets the money, he's not making it out of there alive. One of the gang members lunges at him from behind, but Ito senses him and finishes him off with a single shot. Then they all start swarming him. Ito puts a bullet in Johan's leg, then takes out his men one by one and hangs them up with the meat. One of them manages to get a hold of Ito, while another tries to cut him with a meat saw, but Ito defends himself well and kills them both. Ito makes his way to Johan's office, but Johan is waiting for him with his weapon. Ito comes up with a clever plan to breach the room. He grabs one of the gang members and tosses him through the window. Johan gets distracted and opens fire on him. Right then, Ito busts into the room and takes him down. In the end, Johan hands over their cash just to stay alive. But before leaving, Ito overhears him talking on the phone with someone. When he asks him who he was talking to, Johan just keeps laughing and tells him that he called the Triad. And right now, they're on their way to his house to kill his wife. Ito loses it and tries to shoot him, but he's out of ammo. Moments later, Ito is blindsided by an armed squad from the Triad. They start spraying bullets like crazy, but he ducks behind the desk and Johan takes all the hits. Ito is forced to face them, but one of them hits him with a taser and knocks him out cold. At that moment, Fatih is trying to call him, but he's not picking up. Right then, Fatih tells Shinta to go stay with her parents until this whole thing blows over. Bobby takes Shinta and they head out of the house, but they're surprised by some sketchy people arriving at the building. 2 of them get into the elevator with them. That's when Bobby starts screaming at Shinta and kicks her out of the elevator, acting like they're a couple having a huge fight. Of course, he does this so the gang won't recognize her and kill her. And as soon as she's out, he pulls his knife and finishes them off. Bobby heads back to the house and sees 3 gang members with guns holding Fatih and Wisnu at gunpoint. Bobby acts like a lunatic and starts screaming his head off. Right then, one of the gang members shoots him. Fatih loses his mind, lunges at them, and kills 2 of them. Bobby gets back up too and kills the 3rd one. And we find out that Bobby was wearing a metal plate under his clothes. Wisnu takes Reina to try and hide her, but the gang members are out in force. They swarm them, and a fierce battle breaks out between them. Bobby starts taking them out one by one and tosses one of them out the window. We leave this fight and head back to Ito. Ito wakes up and finds himself in a police car and realizes that the people who attacked him weren't from the Triad, but corrupt cops. Ito lunges at one of them and the rest of the guys jump him, and a brief scuffle breaks out inside the car. At the house, Wisnu grabs a submachine gun to protect Reina. Even though he's not a criminal and doesn't know his way around guns, he manages to kill the first two who try to bust into the room. But unfortunately, one of them stabs Wisnu. Still, that doesn't stop him from grabbing a piece of broken glass and killing him with it. On the other side, Ito beats up the police officers and uses the taser to finish them off. Finally, he pulls the pin on one of their grenades to blow them up, and the car flips over with all of them inside. Next, we see Alma. She's one of the Six Seas elites. She calls Qian Wu and lets him know that all the gang members at the house are dead. So he tells her to send Elena to get the job done. Elena is also one of the Six Seas. She goes up to face Fatih and Bobby, who tell Wisnu to take Reina and get out of there. Elena's men try to use their guns, but she tells them to stand down because she wants to kill them herself. Bobby tells Fatih to look after Reina and goes to fight her alone. Because of his injuries, Elena manages to kill him with total ease. On the other side, Alma catches up to Wisnu before he can escape, and of course, she manages to kill him with total ease. Fatih stands in front of Reina and prepares to die, but before Alma can kill him, Arian shows up and stops her. Alma warns him because he's betraying the gang by doing this, but he doesn't care what she says and finishes her off. However, Fatih loses his temper with Arian because nobody knew the house address but him, but Arian justifies it to him, saying the gang didn't leave him any other choice. Even so, Fatih apologizes to him and shoots him. Before they can leave the place, they get shot at. Fatih hits one of them with the car and finishes him off. Then he steals his rifle and kills a large group of gang members. And because the gang members are so many, Fatih decides to sacrifice himself. He stands in front of the gang and shoots one of them, but they finish him off instantly. When they approach the car to take Reina, they don't find her there, and then they all come under fire from an unknown person, and we find out that the person who did this is Claire, and so far nobody knows which organization she belongs to. Ito finally makes it to the spot and sees the total chaos, and he's absolutely devastated because Fatih got killed. He also thinks that Reina has been kidnapped, but she pops up from behind him. Ito calls Shinta and finds out she's safe and asks her to stay away from him for the time being. Ito goes back home with Reina and tries to comfort her after everything she's been through. At that moment, we're surprised to find out that Arian is still alive and that Fatih didn't kill him. He gave him a second chance to redeem himself. Arian is there with Qian Wu and the rest of the elite members, and of course, everyone is fuming at him. But Arian is hurting because all his friends are dead. Qian Wu tells him if he wants to stay with the Triad, he has to forget about family and friends. Then he hands him a phone with Ito's number on it and tells him that this is his last shot to stay with them. After Reina falls asleep, Ito hears a noise in the living room. As soon as he walks out, he finds Claire trying to kill him with her weapon. But Ito knocks the weapon away, and a brutal fight breaks out between them. The fight moves from the living room to the bathroom, and it's clear that Claire is stronger than Ito. She's right on the verge of killing him, but Reina keeps crying and begging her to let him live. We find out that Claire has some beef with the Triad, but Ito makes it clear to her that it's all over between him and the gang. Claire asks him why he dragged the girl into his mess, so he starts telling her everything that happened. After finishing the story, he raises his head to ask her who she is, but finds she's vanished in the blink of an eye. We flash back a bit to see Ito and the old gang with Arian, Fatih, and Bobby. The four of them were running a small smuggling ring, and we see that they were really tight, especially Arian and Ito. Back to the present day, Arian calls Ito and tells him he never wanted their relationship to end like this. Then he tells him to go to their old gang headquarters so one of them can settle this once and for all. And before Ito can decide whether to go or not, Claire shows up again and makes it clear that she works for the old tiger. And we find out that this is the biggest rival mafia to the Triad. She tells him that her mission is to take out the Six Seas. Ito asks her to help him keep Reina safe and tells her that he's going to end things for good with Arian today. Ito arrives at the gang headquarters and Arian isn't there. Instead, he finds a bunch of gang members. Even though they're outnumbered, Ito manages to take them out one by one. At that moment, Alma and Elena head to Ito's house with their men, and as soon as a group of them goes up to take Reina, Claire meets them in front of the elevator door and blows them all up. We head back to Ito, who's wiping out most of the gang members, even the ones carrying guns. On the other side, Claire gets into a heavy fight with Elena and Alma, but she manages to get the upper hand. She strangles Alma with her weapon. Elena tries to get revenge for her friend, but Claire is like a ninja and manages to take her down. We head back to Ito, who finishes off all of Arian's men and moves in to face him. One of Arian's snipers tries to take him out, but Arian kills her because he wants to kill Ito himself. Ito walks in on him and threatens him with his gun and tells him that Bobby and Fatih died because of him. Then he tosses the pistol aside so they can fight hand to hand. And because Ito is exhausted from all the fighting, Arian manages to land hits on him quite easily, but Ito doesn't give up and gets back up to face him again. However, Arian is stronger and hits him with everything he's got. That's when Ito loses it and gathers all his strength to take Arian on, and the two of them trade heavy blows. And after half an hour of nonstop fighting, Arian stabs Ito with a screwdriver, and Ito hits back by stabbing him in the leg. After that, Ito stabs him in the chest with a knife and is on the verge of killing him, but he backs off since he's gonna die anyway. Ito leaves the place wounded, and then Chen Wu arrives with his men and orders them to finish Arian off. And sure enough, they open fire and kill him. Ito goes back to meet Reina, after putting her on the boat that's gonna smuggle her out of the country. In the end, Ito decides to go face the Triad gang, who are waiting for him in front of the harbor. Ito drives his car at full speed straight toward their bullets, and here we reach the end of our movie.